Okay, why don't we go ahead and get started for the sake of time. Welcome, everybody. I'm Andrea Estrada, and I'm here to welcome you to today's webinar. It's called Wellness. Today's webinar will be about an hour and include rehabilitation exercises presented by Corey Troyer, our physical therapist and neurologic clinical specialist from the Parkinson's and Other Movement Disorders Center here at UC San Diego. A few things to note that there will be 5 educational presentations that our center will be holding this year virtually. We've had 2, or excuse me, we've had 1. This is our second, so we have 3 more after. All the sessions will be recorded and available online at movementdisorders.ucsd.edu. And this is also where you'll find upcoming sessions where you can register if you're interested in any of the other 3, and we hope you will be. We can share any links and resources shown during this presentation with you too. And we will also send a post-session survey, which helps us plan for next year and gives us some feedback. So we appreciate that as well. We can actually go ahead and get started. It looks like a lot of our participants have joined. So I will go ahead and welcome Corey.
All right, so I will share my screen. And here. Okay, so thank you, Andrea, for the introduction. Again, my name is Corey Troyer, and I'm a physical therapist here with UCSD. And our topic today is wellness. So let's talk about wellness and exercise. So like she said, this is part of our virtual symposium series. There's my picture and my email address. So if you guys have questions, Andrea can send it out to you. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. And as she said, I'm a neurological clinical specialist. So I specialize in neurological conditions, including movement disorders and Parkinson's disease. And this is our rehab services team. So this is specifically our neuro team. We have some new faces, so that's why we have the stick figure logos in there for them, because we don't have their updated photos. But there is a team of 4 physical therapists. We now have 3 occupational therapists and a speech therapist. We are primarily located in La Jolla, but we do also have some coverage in the Hillcrest area. So we have services somewhat in 2 places of San Diego. And you can see there that those little shields on some of our photos, we are Power Moves certified, which I'll talk about in the next slide. So a lot of people have heard of BIG. Power is now the replacement for BIG. It's a little bit easier to kind of fit into your lifestyle and not as rigid as the original BIG program was. BIG is still a great program. It's just a lot of us have moved on, and so we are Power Move certified. So that is a specialty certification that physical and occupational therapists can get. So we learn about comprehensive Parkinson's disease specific functional skill training that is research based. And then the idea is that we would then provide proactive, restorative, and skilled maintenance services with the goal of putting off any sort of functional decline. And we like to address motor and non-motor symptoms, help you accomplish your specific goals, create task-specific activities that target gait, agility, strength, ADLs, freezing, dexterity, posture, and more. And with those power moves, it's our job to create a personalized exercise prescription to keep you functional and fit for life. So again, a different application than the original BIG move. So that's what we provide here at UCSD. So what is physical therapy? So physical therapy is a little bit different than wellness. Physical therapy is a treatment approach, and we specifically focus on helping to restore or improve physical function and movement that has been impaired by injury, disease, or disability. We can also provide education and training for both patients and caregivers, as well as recommending assistive devices. So wellness is kind of what happens after you're done with physical therapy or what you're doing before you come back and see us. The best definition that I found was actually from Pfizer, and I just loved it, so I added it. Wellness is the act of practicing healthy habits on a daily basis to attain better physical and mental health outcomes so that instead of just surviving, you're thriving. And I couldn't agree more. So, wellness is a different approach that, yes, includes exercise and eating well, but it's also a mental and spiritual approach. So we think a lot about stress management, spiritual well being, and what that means individually for you. And then how can we get exercise in there as well? Because we do know that that's a big part of it. But everyone's wellness picture is going to look a little bit different. So, just a plug for our wellness classes. So, they're usually hosted by me. The link didn't really pull through all the way, but we can send it out later. It's the first and third Tuesday of every month. And we focus on all of those things: balance, posture, flexibility, strength. It is on Zoom, it is free, and we welcome you all to join. All levels are welcome. The Parkinson's Association also has a great link for additional wellness programs that are here in San Diego. So you can go ahead and check that out. Some physical therapy places also have, different wellness resources attached to them. So I highly encourage that if you are looking for additional programs or support, that you check out the Parkinson's Association. There are also a few other links on the previous slide from our whole body wellness link. Okay, so in terms of exercise, what you should be doing is whatever it is, just be consistent with that. So we know from the research that people with Parkinson's disease who work out 4 to 7 days a week have a higher quality of life, better balance, and improved gait compared to those that exercise less. People with Parkinson's disease, again, who also enrolled in exercise programs with durations longer than 6 months, regardless of the intensity of that exercise, showed a significant gains in their balance and mobility compared to just 2-week or 10-week programs. So again, that shows us that, yes, there is an element of intensity that we'll talk about in a second, but the biggest thing is that consistency. So us picking and choosing exercises that we like or that we think you need, you may not stick with for a longer period of time. And that's where that wellness piece comes in, is how can we get you moving and exercising over a long period of time, because that's what's mostly beneficial. So the weekly exercise goals have come out from the Parkinson's Outcomes Project. And the study shows that 2.5 hours of weekly exercise, along with your medication, can significantly improve the quality of life for people living with Parkinson's. So to break that down, it's about 20 to 30 minutes a day or more, or 150 minutes per week. So however you like to break that down and think of it. Again, we like daily exercise, so sometimes the 20 to 30 minutes a day seems a little bit more attainable than thinking about 2.5 hours or 150 minutes over the course of the week. So within those recommendations, or within that 150 minutes, what should you be doing? Well, this is where the intensity comes in, and intensity does matter. The research that is coming out now says that more vigorous intensity exercise is better, but again, no exercise is bad. So with intensity, when we think of aerobic exercise, that is getting your heart rate up for a sustained period of time. Studies do show that even 10-minute bouts of exercise is helpful from a cardiovascular standpoint. So if we're trying to just get your heart rate up and get those cardiovascular benefits, 10 minutes at a time is what you need. You can see here that I have written out the 70 to 85% of your max heart rate. So that's usually how we're going to calculate how high we should be getting your heart rate. There are caveats to this. Medication can blunt your heart rate. It's difficult to track sometimes. And so it might not be the best indicator of how hard you're working. But again, that's kind of what we look to. If all of the parameters are there, we can use heart rate as a way to measure that. Again, we want it at least 3 days a week, 30 to 40 minutes of main exercise at a time. If you have no way to track your heart rate, or again, heart rate isn't the best indicator of how hard you're working, we can look at a scale of, sometimes we use 15, or sorry, we use a 20-point RPE scale, which RPE is rate of perceived exertion, or we can use a 10-point scale. Typically, we flip to the 10-point scale because it's a little bit easier for people to relate with that. So we usually say on a moderate end is 6 to 8 out of 10. And you can see on the picture here on the slide, this is from a clinic up in the LA area, and they're called Rogue, and they specialize in Parkinson's wellness. But they've come out with their own RPE chart that I really like. So that's what we like to use here in clinic. But you can see it's got the different colors. At 6, we start to get into that hard activity, and you can see on the far right that it says the functional zone. So that's kind of the top of what they consider the functional zone. Then as we get into those 7, 8, 9, 10 areas, we consider those the dopamine zones. So again, that's where we know you're going to be giving out your max effort. We know that you won't be able to sustain that for 10 minutes at a time. So you can see max possible effort for just 20 to 30 seconds. But that's where getting the heart rate up to the highest that we can safely can be beneficial, because we've dubbed those the dopamine zones. Again, if that is hard for you to delineate where you're at, I don't know. A lot of people tell me that all the time. There's also something called the talk test. So that is something while you're doing the exercise, if you can still talk but not sing a song, you're probably getting into those moderate. If you're at the point where you can't talk, can't carry out a conversation, you're probably at the vigorous end of things, just because your breathing is going to be elevated, a little bit harder to get out your voice. Okay, so that's aerobic. The next breakdown or category would be strength training. So when we think about strength training, we want to be doing this 2 to 3 non-consecutive days per week, meaning that you're giving yourself a rest break in between, or alternating the muscles that you are exercising. Again, at least 30 minutes per session. That's kind of our gold standard across the board. Thinking about 10 to 15 repetitions for the major muscle groups, using resistance, speed, or power focus. And then obviously there's a lot of things that you can do in order to do strength training. You don't always need equipment. You can use your body weight, you can use dumbbells, you can use resistance bands, you could use soup cans. So again, you can get pretty creative with what type of resistance you are using for strength training. All right, moving along. So we also have balance, agility, and multitasking. So this is recommended to be completed 2 to 3 days per week, but you can see it says with daily integration if possible. So this is usually what people tell me that they have the most difficulty with, is that balance work, is the multitasking, doing multiple things at once. So we try to bring that in as much as we can per the recommendations. But you will find, again, that other more complex activities like yoga, tai chi, dance, boxing integrates all of those things at the same time. So again, if that is something you are interested in and an activity that you like, well, you're definitely working on a lot of these things. You will also be working, likely at some point, getting your heart rate up with that aerobic activity, as well as doing some strength training and stretching, which we'll get into. So then the fourth category, again, is the stretching. Minimum recommendation of the 2 to 3 days per week, but we know that daily stretching is most effective and what is highly recommended. And then we usually like to place an emphasis, at least on the chest, the hamstrings, the calves. That's typically where we see tightness in this population. All right, so today when we get moving, we are going to be doing aerobic, strengthening, balance, and stretching work. And we are also going to do a brief introduction with the power moves. So you guys will have an opportunity to power up with me. Again, for today, we don't need any equipment. We're just using body weight. If you have equipment, you are more than free to use it, your dumbbells, your resistance bands, whatever you want. You can also do the exercises in sitting and standing with me. So depending on what level you're at, and I can kind of talk you through those changes if we need to. So at this point, I'm going to stop my screen there, and then we should be good to go. All right, I'm going to move out of the way, get myself set up. Yeah, can you guys all still hear me okay?
Yes, you sound
Okay,
great.
just making sure. All right, so we're going to start with a brief warm up. I have my timer ready, and we're going to try to keep these 30 seconds intervals, and I'll talk you through as we go. So the first one we're going to do is just a nice, gentle marching with your arm swings, okay? So keep on going. Let's see if we can just get warmed up. So we're just going to start off slow. And you can use a chair, the wall, anything like that if you need to for your balance. And you can also do this in sitting. All right, so the next one we're gonna do is a march, but as we're marching, we're gonna put in a little dual tasking. So I want you to work on pushing your arms in front of you and then bringing them up. So trying to do those two things at once. Push forward, push up. Push forward, push up. Too difficult for you to keep doing this at one point in time, or together, I should say, then you can go ahead and just do the marches or just do the pushes and separate them out until you can put them back together. All right. The next one we're going to move to is a side step. So as you're stepping, we're going to let our arms go with us, almost like a little bit of a dance move. So kind of letting them sway as we go. Out, swing those arms. Again, just trying to get loosened up. Keep on moving. All right, so we're going to repeat that series of 5 exercises again. And again, this would fall somewhere into the aerobic category. So I want you to think about moving a little bit faster this time, now that you're a little bit warmed up, trying to get your heart rate up. So we're just going to march and swing those arms. See if you can swing them higher, faster, if you're moving faster. Doing great, hang in there. All right, we'll rest briefly, and then we're gonna move into our marches with our pushes. Okay, so we're pushing forward and pushing the ceiling up, alternating. Really try to get both arms pushing all the way out. Sometimes they can be a little stiff. Halfway through. All right, take a little rest break. Then we're going to move into our side steps with our arm swings. 3, 2, 1. Again, really try to reach those arms up, swing them up. All right, we're going to add 2 new ones, okay? So the next one you're going to do is a step out and then back. Step out and back. If you want a little bit of an advanced move, you could do a little bit of a jumping jack. Computer is going to time out on me, so I apologize. So again, step out and back, out and back. Okay, and then the next one is going to be a kick. So we're going to kick out and punch with the opposite hand. If it's too hard to hold your leg up in the air, you can tap your heel on the ground as you're punching. So again, more of a balance challenge, try to kick it up. Less of the balance challenge, you'll keep it down on the ground. Again, if it's too difficult to do the two things at once, you can pick which one you would like to focus on. All right, take a rest break, and then we're going to repeat those two again. Excuse me. So again, you can step out and come back, step out, come back, or big out and back. So for this round, I'm going to do the hops. You have a chair nearby. You can also just hop out with the legs and keep the arms holding your balance. Halfway through. Take a rest, and then we're going to move on to our kicks with our punches. I'm going to catch my breath a second, and we'll start again in 3 seconds. So here we go. Kick, punch. Think about maybe punching with some power, with a little bit of oomph behind it. Halfway through. All right, great. We'll catch our breath a second. Now we're going to move into our strengthening portion. So we're going to do our body weight for these. But again, you have dumbbells around, little hand weights. Feel free to grab them. We're going to start with a squat. So bending your knees and standing back up. If you have knee pain or issues, you can go a little bit smaller if you need to. If you are sitting, you can stand up from the chair and sit down. If you are unable to do that, then you can just lean forward in your chair and come back up. Just working on coming forward and up, squeezing those glutes, using those quads. So we'll catch our breath, and then we're going to move into bicep curls. So again, this is where your hand weights could be good to add if you have them laying around. So pulling up and straightening down. Thinking about nice control motion through the entire motion. So don't stop halfway. Try to go all the way up and come all the way down. Doing great. You should feel those biceps working, even if you're just using your body weight. 3, 2, 1, okay, rest. Next, we're going to move into a lunge. So coming down and up. We'll do roughly 10 on one side, and then we'll switch and do 10 on the other. If you are unable to do that, if it's too difficult on your knees, you can then just work on a step forward with maybe a little knee bend like so, and then a step forward, little knee bend. If you are sitting, you could do the same thing. You would just take a step forward from your sitting position in the chair, bend forward a little bit, and then step back, okay? Also use a chair or the wall if you need to for your balance for this one. So see how many you can get through during our interval here. All right. Come down and come back up. And again, only go as far down as you feel comfortable, which could be just here, could be all the way down to the floor. Trying to get some good strengthening in today. Okay, great. I want you to rest a second, then we'll turn around and try to count these out loud. That'll help with your voice, but also then you're going to know how many you need to get in on the other side. Step down. Five. Last one. 10. Okay. The next strengthening exercise we're going to do is a push-up. So there are a lot of ways that we can modify a push-up. Again, you could do it the traditional way on the floor. You can do against a wall, like so. You could do it against like a table or a counter, depending on what you have handy. You could do it from a chair. And then let me scoot this chair over this way. If you happen to, again, be sitting, you can also do chair push-ups from here. So you're leaning forward, pushing up from your chair. So again, everyone can do push-ups. You just have to find what modification you will be doing. So for me, I'm going to be doing it from the chair. So I'll give you a second to set up, and then we're going to try to do another 10, okay? The further you are away from your surface, the harder they're going to be. So you can adjust that way if you're joining me in an upright position, or if you're doing it from the wall, the same concept. Okay, so we're gonna try, or I'm gonna try to do 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Ooh, very good. So that is a great full body strengthening exercise that, like I said, everyone can do regardless of skill level. And on to our next one. So our next set of exercises is going to be for your back muscles. So you want to think about having good upright posture. We're going to bring our hands neutral kind of together and then pulling them out to the side like so. So good upright posture, squeeze back. Again, we're going to try to do 10 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Oh, I can already feel that in my back muscles, so hopefully you guys can as well. So we're going to go through that series of strengthening exercises 2 more times. So then you would have your 3 sets of your 10 repetitions of 5 exercises, okay? Okay, so back to the top are our squats or our sit-to-stands, whatever you're doing. So feet apart, bending those knees, and coming up. So that's 1, 2, 3, and you can go at your own pace if I'm going a little bit faster than you. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great job. So again, you should feel that maybe in your thighs and your glute muscles. Next are bicep curls. So curling them up. Again, full range of motion. Don't stop. 2, and even if you don't have a load, you really concentrate on that movement. 3, you will work those biceps. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, one more, 10. Great job. Kind of shake it out. And then we're going to go back to our lunges. So again, that's where you're stepping forward, bending those knees, and coming back. Or just that kind of step forward with a little bend and come back. So we'll do 10 and 10 again. So step forward, lunge, and up. That's 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great. I will flip around to do my other leg. Oh, here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and again, go at your own pace. 8, 9, and 10. Very good. All right, next comes our push-ups. So again, whatever variation you are choosing, I'm going to do mine from the chair, and my goal is 10. You can make that same goal for yourself, or maybe do 6 or 8, whatever you can do. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Whew, those are always tiring. Okay, and then our last one are our field goals. So give you a second to set up. Arms in front, pulling back. Good upright posture. That's 1. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. And then shake out those arms. And then we'll complete our third round of our strengthening exercises. But I'll give you a second if you need a drink of water or just need a rest break, catch your breath, and then we'll start again. Rest is also very important in exercise. We want you to keep hydrated, give your muscles those rest breaks so then that way they can do what you are asking them to do. All right, so here we go again. Last round of our strengthening exercises. So we're going to start with those squats. And again, my goal is 10. So match your own goal. 1, 2, 3, 4. And tighten those quads and those glutes. 5 as you come to a stand. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, we're done with the squats. Next.
Uh-oh, it looks like we may have lost Corey. Let's see if she joins back in. You can go ahead and get some water, continue your squats. And I'm sure she's re-logging in. I'm sorry about that. I would continue the exercises, but I don't know what they are. If anybody has any questions, you can go ahead and ask them in the chat or in the Q&A button, excuse me, while we're waiting. There she is. Let's go ahead and let's, Corey, you're muted. Let's go ahead and unmute you.
There we go.
All right.
My computer decided to die with no warning. So here we are. Let me adjust this just a little. Okay, now everybody can see me, I think, again. All right, sorry for the technicality. Okay, what were we? Oh, we were doing bicep curls, I think. So we'll finish up with those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, hopefully everybody enjoyed the rest break while I was coming back to the screen. We're going to move into our lunges next. So for the lunges, again, step forward, then those knees come down and step back. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, and then switch to your other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, great job. Okay, next one are push-ups. So I'll give you a second to transition to wherever you are doing your push-ups. Again, this is our last round of our strengthening exercises. So we're gonna hold here, and you're gonna go down and up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, done with our push-ups for the day. Okay, and our last strengthening exercise are our field goals. So starting here, pulling out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Shake it out. All right, we're going to move into a little bit of our balance work. So for this one, we're going to stand on one leg, or if you're sitting, you'll have contact with one leg on the ground, and then you're going to tap, and we're going to try to tap forward, back to your center, sideways, back to your center, and back. And then we are going to try to do 15 seconds on one foot, then we will switch and do 15 seconds with our other foot tapping. Again, be next to your wall or have a chair handy if you need to help you with your balance, okay? If you feel like you have really good balance, you could just do kicks instead of those toe taps. So again, forward, side, back. We'll keep tapping with that same leg, forward, side, back. Forward, side, back. Now let's switch. Forward, side, back. And keep it going. Forward, side, back. One more. Forward, side, back. Okay, so it's working on single and balance. Our next one we're gonna do is a punch, and then I want you to turn. So we're changing direction, and then we'll repeat another punch, big steps to turn, and then again, we'll repeat that in a circle. If you are sitting, you will do your same punch, step out as your turn, punch, step out as your turn, okay? Okay, so we're gonna try to do this one for about 30 seconds. Here we go. So punch, big step, 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 big step. Now let's go the other way. Punch, big step, punch, big step, punch, big step, punch, big step. Whew. Take a little rest break from that one. And then we're gonna do one more, and this is to kind of bring in the occupational therapy, fine motor coordination. So finger taps. We'll get a little closer. So you're just gonna try to tap those fingers, one and then the other, going back and forth. If you want to make it a little bit more advanced for your posture, you can hold them up over your head while you're doing your finger taps. If that's too challenging, then you can hold them straight out and do your finger taps. So really thinking about big movements of those fingers. Getting them out as big as you can, keep them fanned out. A few more. And back. We don't want to forget about our fingers and our hands. Okay, so now we're going to move into some stretching. So again, a lot of different ways you can do this depending on where you are in your home. The first one we're going to want to stretch out is our chest. So if you are seated, you can come forward with those elbows out and down. Standing, we are just going to lace our fingers together and then pull back. And we're going to hold this for about 20 to 30 seconds. And you can also lean back a little bit to get some extension in through your spine. Shake it out. The next one we're going to stretch is the front of our hip. So if you're standing, you put one foot forward and kind of step forward a little bit, lean back. You should feel this through the front of your hip. You might also get some through your calf. If you're sitting, you're just going to drop your foot down. Drop your foot down. So it's a little bit straight. Again, you can do that little lean back to get into that hip flexor. So we'll hold this. And during this time too, you want to take a little bit of time to slow down your breathing. Okay, and then we're going to switch to the other side and just dropping it down. Thinking about your nice tall posture. Slowing down your breathing. Okay. All right, and then the next one are hamstrings. So again, as I said, we like to stretch those. You have your chair handy or you're sitting. You just put your foot out in front of you, keep that knee straight, and you can hinge forward a little bit. The same will be true if you're standing. So prop it in front of you, keep the knee straight, lean forward, use the chair or the wall for your balance as you need to. And again, try not to bounce in these stretches. You want a good hold at wherever you feel that stretch for 20 to 30 seconds. Okay, and then we'll switch. So we'll be done in around 11:45. Okay, great. And then for our calves, since I'm sitting, I'll show you that one first. You're basically just going to try to pull your foot back underneath of you in that chair, and then hold your stretch there. Keep that heel on the ground. If you're standing, put one foot in front, and then again, kind of shift your weight forward. So we'll hold this here. Okay, and then we're gonna switch. All right, very good. Okay, and then we're gonna finish up, like I said, with some power moves. So I'm gonna do mine in the sitting version. You could do the same ones in standing, but I like sitting, especially in the way we're doing it right now, because we're gonna do it as a little bit of a cool down. So we're gonna hold these a little longer and do some breathing while we're doing them. So give you a second to have that chair handy, or again, if you're standing, you can do the same moves just in a standing position. So the first one you're gonna do is you're just gonna lean forward, hold that, take a deep breath in, and blow it out. And then we're gonna come back up and we're going to drop down onto our elbow and you're gonna reach up high, taking that nice deep breath. Again, try to get that arm straight. And even if you can reach further over, you'll get a better stretch. So depending on your mobility. And then come back up. And then we're going to reach the other way. So first, reach up nice and tall. And then reach over your head, trying to get a nice stretch. Good. Take a nice deep breath in and out. And then come back up. We're going to do a power twist next. So you're going to hold those arms out in a T position. Good upright posture. And you're going to rotate, trying to get those hands together, getting some movement at your hip. You'll open up nice and big and rotate the other way. Hold this position. And open back up, nice and big, thinking about being tall. And then we're going to bring those feet together and you're going to step out and reach out and reach far. And you might feel a stretch in your inner thighs. We'll come back in and step out the opposite way and reach. Again, getting some stretch and come back. So we're going to repeat that flow together 2 more times. So feet apart, bend forward, nice deep breath, come back up, arms come out, and then you're going to reach over your head, come back to your middle, reach over your head, good, come back to your middle, open those arms up, reach across, open up big, reach across, open back up, good posture, reset those feet together, big step out with that shift over as you reach, and then come back, step out, big shift over as you reach, come back, we'll go 1 more time, we'll reset our feet out nice and wide, good upright posture, hands on the knees coming forward, nice deep breath, and out, and coming up, and dropping down to your elbow with a big reach overhead, and then come back, and then a big reach overhead, good, come back, open those arms up nice and wide, and rotate, and open big, and rotate, open up back nice and big, And then reset those feet back together. Step one out, big reach over, bring it back, step out, big reach over, and back to center. Great job, everyone. Come a little closer. Thank you guys all for exercising with me. I hope you guys had fun today. Again, I apologize for the technical difficulty. So thank you for bearing with me. Yeah, and I hope you guys all have a good rest of your day.